So I just took the car out since it was tuned and put a good 60 miles on it. In fact, I went downtown and picked up a friend of mine, and we cruised over the mountains, and which of course was a little bit like, hopefully the gas tank works at this low low of a tank. It's supposed to have 8 gallons in it, but I don't know how far the feed tube goes into it. So but we got over the mountain, then we came back, and worked out okay. But there was a vibration that was getting worse and worse and worse, and I forgot that it happened while we were tuning too. And I found out what it was, and I've had this problem on both sides. The clips that right here, this clip that holds the exhaust on, it keeps coming out. And so we got the other side in with some Loctite type material. In fact, I'm sure I had blue on there to begin with, and that didn't do anything. So I'm using, instead of blue now, I use a different company called Permatex, I believe, and it's orange. And what orange is the strength of red, but you don't have to heat it to break it. You could actually still break it by hand. So that's what I'm going to use, and actually both of those came off. Now, it doesn't really matter. The exhaust is so tight that it ain't going anywhere, but I'm going to go ahead and Permatex those back up. And then I just got in my front wheel spacers, which I'm hoping fit the front of the car. I'm assuming they're the same as the back. I'm probably wrong, but we'll see. And so I'm going to, while the car's cooling off, I'm going to test fit and see if that works. And then after that's done, I'm going to have to reassess where my front fender goes. Hopefully it's exactly an inch difference. And then I won't have clearance issues when I turn, and I can take those spacers back out. That are governors, I should say, that are kind of holding me from making tighter turns. So we'll see if that happens. If not, we'll definitely figure out what I need and get another one in. But and then I talked to my buddy Greg about the Bodywork. Now, originally I was assuming he was coming in like this weekend, and we were going to work on stuff, but he just got slammed since he's been out of town so long. And what the game plan is we are going to get the side panels in here while the car is fully, dressed with hood and everything. And then I'm going to start, get my door poppers and all that stuff installed. And then I'm going to start sanding the crap out of this. And the reason that we're doing it here is there's things like this, where this isn't perfectly lined up yet. Like this is low here and high here, and this is low here and high here. And so that's not a door alignment issue. That's like you got to float it or do something. So, and this gap's a little bit big right here, just for an inch. So we need to have everything on the car first and kind of figure out those nuances. And then after that, I'm going to drive this car down to his place, and I'm going to pull the whole body off and put it on a body buck. And then all the body work's going to be done down there. And I'm assuming it's one of those things where I'm just going to spend every waking hour that I can, before I go to work, whatever it is, and bust out as much body work as I can. And then I'm going to I'll have to take these lights and mount them on the trunk temporarily and drive this thing home with like goggles or a helmet or something, without a body. Make sure the headlights are still on. And then, I could get my AC working. I could, start doing all the electronics and all that stuff. But honestly, I'm not sure how much of that I'll be able to do while we're doing body work, or if it's one of those things where I could only get down there to his place twice a week, and so the rest of the time I'll be here doing stuff here. I don't know if my brain could handle that much multitasking between the two, because if I get stuck on or not stuck on this, but if I, get like 2 weeks straight of body work and I come back to this and I was in the middle of wiring, I won't remember what I was doing. It's just how it is these days. So that's kind of what's going on. So jack this up, take the wheel off, and see what we could do here. All right, so we got those on, all torqued down. I got thread lockers on the inside. And one thing I'm noticing here is there's just a little bit of play in my steering, so I'm going to try to redo this one and see if I can get it tighter. Yep, so I was able to tighten that one right there and got that all super tight. So now there's no real play when I move it. It's actually moving the knuckle itself. So now that I have the spacers out, or in, I should say, I was thinking about taking those out, but I'm going to wait until I get the brackets on for the fenders. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to rebuy these studs because I got to take an inch off of this, and so if I take an inch off I won't have any threads. So we're just gonna have to see how that plays out, but we're doing pretty good moving forward. So luckily my spacers actually fit and I don't have to get other ones, so I'm really happy about that, because it just seems like Murphy's Law every once in a while where you think you're doing something and it does it wrong. So yeah, so the car should be cooled down enough. I'm going to go underneath and try to fix those other nuances and go from there. All right, so it was funny because I went to lay down the thread locker, and as soon as I put it on the front wheel, I was like, uh-oh, I have no way to like torque this down because there's no resistance on these front spindles because there's no axle or anything. And as soon as I said that, all of a sudden I hear my neighbor pull up, and I'm like, perfect timing. So I got Bob to come over and sit in the car and push the brakes so I could actually torque everything down, because I was no way to do it without him. So we got those in, and I found the rattle, and I started the car and tested it, and all the rattles were gone. So it's just one more thing of making this car feel solid. I'm gonna hit the fenders in a separate video, so till next time, have a great day.